I'm Ann Makovic, and this is the minute. At least 150 people are dead after a 7.7 earthquake rocked Myanmar and Thailand. A 6.4 aftershock followed. At least 90 people are missing after a building collapsed in Bangkok. The death toll is expected to rise as rescuers sort through the rubble. VTA bus service has resumed this morning for the first time in nearly 3 weeks. Drivers who went on strike are back on the job after a judge ordered them to return. Light rail service is expected to resume following rail inspections. And the NCAA tournament continues at Chase Center tomorrow. The Florida Gators facing off against Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, in the West Region Final. The winner of that game will punch their ticket to the Final Four. Tip-off at 3:09 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Ann Makovic with the minutes.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
VTA buses in the South Bay finally running again after a nearly 3-week strike. Today we are hearing from commuters who say how the dispute has taken a toll.
I know myself, I had to find alternative methods, so it was costly, difficult.
Plus, recent earthquakes and December tsunami scare serving as a wake-up call here in the Bay Area.
One of the things that was a big issue at that time was getting out. It was just a mess. It was just a mess.
Meet a cafe owner hoping a new tool will help avoid chaos along the coast. And we're introducing you to a former big leaguer turning young athletes into winners by making youth sports less toxic. Thanks for joining us. More scattered showers across the Bay Area this Friday and even more rain next week. Meteorologist Jessica Birch has your forecast.
Well, it's a cool and cloudy day for us today with some light showers sweeping in from offshore. Now, just within the past 24 hours, we've gotten close to an inch of rain in areas like Kentfield. Santa Rosa topping off closer to around 1/4 of an inch, and we'll continue to add to that as we head into this weekend's forecast. The good news is we're staying dry for Saturday's forecast, but we do have more rain as early as Sunday. But before I get too ahead of myself, we still need to talk about today because this morning alone, we've been seeing some light showers in the forecast for us. That'll be the trend as we head into this afternoon, mostly sweeping off into the east, catching a little bit of a break with cloudy skies throughout most of the day today, but those light showers could still hold on tight to our coastline. So gear up and get ready for that. In total, we'll see probably around 1/4 of an inch all the way over to areas like Livermore. Less impressive numbers along that coastline. Now let's head over to the next 7 days. Like I mentioned, Saturday is going to be a nice dry day for us. Still cloudy though and cool as well, but once we head into Sunday, those showers return, and that's the case as we head into all next week with rain in the forecast each day from Monday into Tuesday all the way into our Thursday forecast. The next 7 days are looking pretty gloomy and pretty cloudy and very wet too. So hold on tight to that umbrella, or at least go buy a new one if you need one as we head into Saturday. Saturday's a great day to do any yard work, get some fresh air, do some outdoor activities, because I have a feeling as we head into next week, just getting busy with our work schedules, our school schedules, and all the rain that we're expecting too, you're probably going to be inside a lot and wishing that you would have taken advantage of the forecast on Saturday with mid-60s in the forecast and just partly cloudy skies. I'll keep you updated on those rainfall totals here in the Weather Center. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Thanks, Jess. VTA buses back in service for the first time in almost 3 weeks. Drivers who were on the picket lines are now back behind the wheel after a judge ordered them to return to work. That strike left thousands of commuters without rides, and they had to find other ways to get to their destinations. We spoke with Hannah Wade, who found the strike a major inconvenience for her daily commute.
People didn't have transportation to and from work. I know myself, I had to find alternative methods, so it was costly, difficult. And on top of that, we had other people who weren't sure how they were going to get to and from work.
And in addition to buses, light rail service is expected to return soon. Veronica Macias reports from the Sunnyvale Transit Center.
Lots of people maybe still not getting the memo. Not a lot of early birds getting on the bus here at the Sunnyvale Transit Center. The people that we have talked to, some riders saying this strike, it was costly, it was difficult, and a lot of uncertainty came with it. Some people trying to share on those ride shares like Uber and Lyft. And we also know from workers who are not able to go on camera, they're telling us they're happy to get back to work. Their favorite part, getting to talk to people. However, we do know that the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 265, the president saying the order to get back to work from a judge and issuing that injunction, calling it outrageous. We do know that they still have to go through negotiations with VTA. The union says that these 1,500 workers had no choice but to get back on the job. They had been on strike since March 10th. An estimated 100,000 people who depend on this form of transportation having to figure out what to do, it being costly for them. As far as those negotiations go, the latest proposal from VTA was an 11% increase over a 3-year period. Meanwhile, workers, they had been pushing for an 18% increase. The vouchers that VTA had proposed or given out to riders, that expired as of last night. 100% of the bus schedule resumed. Meanwhile, rail service, that is expected to resume on Monday, possibly Sunday, we're told. Lots of people commenting on social media now that service is back, questioning what to do with those monthly or yearly passes. Customer service says people should call, provide their name, address, and email for a replacement or reimbursement. As far as negotiations, while workers are back on the job, they will continue. VTA saying they feel they have offered a fair proposal for workers. And again, the union calling it outrageous having to come back to work without a signed contract.
Meantime, the VTA confirmed that copper wires on the rail system were stolen during the workers' strike. The transit agency says they are inspecting those tracks now to make sure they are safe for riders, but they say this inspection was required regardless of the thefts. UC Berkeley and Stanford under investigation right now by the Department of Justice over their admission policies. They are among 4 universities in California being pursued by the Trump administration. Attorney General Pam Bondi directing her Civil Rights Division to examine the university's compliance with a Supreme Court decision that ended affirmative action in college admissions. We've reached out to officials at UC Berkeley and Stanford and are still waiting to hear back. Developing news out of Southeast Asia. At least 150 people are dead, more than 700 injured after a powerful 7.7 earthquake in Myanmar and neighboring Thailand. Terrifying video shows the moment a half-built skyscraper collapses there in Bangkok. Thailand's defense minister says at least 3 people were killed, 90 still missing following that particular collapse. To date, we're hearing from some people who felt the huge shake.
I was in my lazy boy and all of a sudden it moved back and forth and then it toppled over.
And all of a sudden the whole building just began to move. Immediately there was screaming, there was a lot of panic.
Now, the 7.7 quake first hit central Myanmar, and it was followed by several aftershocks, one as big as 6.4 in magnitude. Here is another look at some of the damage. There are several buildings destroyed in Thailand, as well as a bridge in Myanmar. Myanmar's ruling military has declared a state of emergency and is calling for international assistance. The number of people killed and the number of people injured, both expected to rise as rescuers sort through the rubble. And that video coming to us from an office building in the capital city of Myanmar. Journalists there say roads buckled under the force of the tremors. A look at the water there cascading from a rooftop pool of a high-rise hotel in Bangkok. We're going to continue to update you with new information as this story develops. It has been 3 months since a 7.0 earthquake in Humboldt County caused a massive traffic backup on the peninsula. That's because a tsunami warning was issued for coastal areas, and that led to gridlock along Highway 1 near Pacifica. Well, that threat never materialized, but it did highlight concerns of how to get people along the coast to higher ground safely. Now, as Max Darrow reports, a new tool might provide a better way out.
When she closes up shop for the day at her Pacifica cafe, it's hard for Ginger Davis not to smile.
The ocean is just amazing. It's always been my favorite thing.
Her Chit Chat Cafe is about as close to the water as you can get. 99% of the time, it's a blessing. But when a tsunami warning buzzed her phone on December 5th last year,
We're obviously right on the water, so it was a big concern.
she left and got to higher ground. But she remembers this well. Highway 1 packed with bumper-to-bumper traffic, people trying to get away from the coast.
One of the things that was a big issue at that time was getting out. It was just a mess. It was just a mess.
She says obviously it was great a tsunami didn't hit, but communication about what to do and where to go wasn't great. And that needs to change. San Mateo County leaders agree. Officials just unveiled a new interactive dashboard they hope will help in the future.
This tool is actually done in direct response to community feedback.
Supervisor Ray Mueller says it shows people their risk level and helps identify the safe paths to higher ground so they know where to go.
And what happened on that day back in December is many people ran to Highway 1, which is actually in the tsunami zone, and were stuck in traffic when they could have just gone a few blocks east.
And so they were traveling all over the coast in panic, trying to figure out if they were safe and if who they loved were safe.
When the tsunami warning came through, Mueller says a similar online state resource couldn't handle the web traffic.
So what happened with the state dashboard is so many people went to it, it actually failed under the traffic that came to it. By having the information housed here on our servers, that's not going to happen.
More public signage is also in the works. Mueller believes the county is already more prepared and hopes this tool helps residents feel better prepared as well.
In just over 3 months to have this site up and to have these signs coming, where you can see our emergency management department is working at light speed.
I'm just hoping it goes better next time.
Living along the coast, Davis knows there will be a next time.
We live in earthquake country, and tsunamis start from the shifting of the earth.
And when that happens, she hopes the county's action now does actually pay off.
Having a plan for evacuating with cars, where to go, what roads to take.
She'd like to see that message communicated enough so people understand it, so chaos along the coast doesn't happen the next time.
If you live in San Mateo County and want to check out that dashboard, we have a link on our website, kpix.com. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, fired with nowhere left to go. The plea from Alameda County Fairground workers running out of housing options.
This is a very catastrophic situation.
Plus, as weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy have become more popular, meet the local scientist using AI to discover a new drug without the baggage.
Give you the beneficial effects without some of the side effects.
And how a former pro athlete is coaching parents to put the fun back in sports for their kids.
A cool and cloudy day with daytime highs topping off in the low 60s as we head into this afternoon with some light showers in the forecast too. Now we head into our Saturday and Sunday forecast. We'll catch a little bit of a break from the rain by tomorrow, gearing up for more as we head into Sunday. That's just along the bay. We're also going to notice that in our inland areas as well. We're also cooling down more as we head into next week with upper 50s in the forecast right around the corner, not only for our friends in San Francisco, but this will include the East Bay as early as Monday and Tuesday with cloudy skies and wet conditions into next week.
At the Alameda County Fairgrounds, a lot of families scrambling to find new homes and new jobs after the fairgrounds decided to end its horse racing operations. Workers facing a midnight deadline tonight to pack up and leave. While hundreds have already left, many are still living there in RVs, and they could face a fine every day they stay, which is why the families, along with homeless advocates, rallied at the fairgrounds yesterday, calling on the county to provide resources to try to help them afford a new place to live. Kelsey Thorett spoke with a family who has no idea where they're going to go next.
Me dejaron aquí tengo todo que yo estoy arrollando.
This is all the stuff that I have to be packing.
Aquí tengo otra bolsa ya empacando.
This is another bag that I'm packing if I have in case we have to leave.
Vicky and her husband Nicholas are in a panic. This week, the racetrack at the Alameda County Fairgrounds shut down, putting Nicholas out of a job and leaving both he and Vicky without a place to live.
No sabemos qué hacer, lo que necesitamos es ayuda.
We don't know what to do. What we need is help and support.
The two had been living here in an RV park on the fairgrounds. Vicky says it wasn't anything fancy, but they made it home.
Le pusimos eso para que los niños
we even
jugaran.
made a homemade swing.
Compramos eso entre varias personas.
We even bought a little barbecue grill for the families.
The two say dozens of families lived here, most of them stable workers like Nicholas.
Le llaman reciben van donde testean los caballos para después de que corren.
I was a groomer for the horses.
But this week they say everyone's lives were upended. After the track announced its closure, the couple says every family was told they would have to either accept a huge rent increase or leave the RV park immediately.
Es que no se están yendo para su pueblo.
Some people are even moving back home.
Hay unos que no sepan
back to the country. There's some people that they're not telling where they're moving.
In an attempt to stop the rent increase and get families like Vicky's support, local homeless advocates hosted an emergency press conference at the fairgrounds Thursday.
So this is a very catastrophic situation. Some are so scared that they're just leaving their trailers and leaving because they don't know what to do because no one has told them.
These advocates say they are in the process of gathering information and are not ruling out a lawsuit. Vicky and Nicholas say all they want is to be able to stay in their home and find new work.
Esto es duro, le digo. Nunca esperé yo tener todo esto que está pasando.
And it's we didn't, again, they told us we were going to be here for 3 to 5 years, and this is where we are now.
Estuvo en coma sobre el COVID.
My husband went through the whole COVID, was sick.
Ella puede hacer lo poco que él pueda, ¿verdad?
And again, he's also doing what he can.
An East Bay comic book shop could really use a superhero right now to catch some villains who robbed their store. Surveillance video from early Saturday morning shows it all happening at Crush Comics in Castro Valley. You can see the two masked thieves breaking a window, then heading over to a wall display and taking some of the shop's most valuable comic books. We checked out the damage for ourselves. The window still boarded up, and you can see remnants of the broken glass there. Manager Cole Sanders has worked at this family-owned business for 8 years. He says they've been vandalized before, but this is the first time they've been burglarized.
You know that they're not into comics because it's just there's really at the end of the day not going to be this big payday for you. They're hard to move anyways, and you're not working a business like this because you want to make $1 billion. It's because you love comics and you love your community.
Cole says the community support has been the silver lining here. Customers coming in to make donations or just to check in. The Alameda County Sheriff's Department is still looking for these two suspects. They're urging anybody who might know anything about this case to give them a call. Several Kohl's stores in the Bay Area are set to close tomorrow. That includes the Kohl's locations in San Rafael, Napa, Pleasanton, and Fremont. The retail chain reported declining sales numbers at the end of 2024 and the beginning of this year, and made the decision to close 27 locations nationwide that it says have been underperforming. If you need some free furniture, you might want to head to San Jose today. It is Free Furniture Friday at Habitat for Humanity's Restore that is on Las Plumas Avenue. They're hoping to clear out space in their warehouse to make room for new donations while also giving back to the community.
Times are tough. Everyone can use a break, and when we have things in our stores that are just not selling, we don't want to put them in the landfill. So it's a win for the community that gets free stuff. It's a win for our environment that we don't have growing landfills, and it's a win for us that we have all these people who come to the stores and learn about our mission.
Yeah, time to upgrade. Thousands of purple tagged items like furniture, lighting, and decor, all up for grabs. As artificial intelligence continues to evolve, especially here in the Bay Area, there's a lab in Emeryville that is working to use AI technology to try to help people lose weight without the unwanted side effects that you see with a lot of those drugs out there. Our Suji Nam has that story.
Richard Yu has always been passionate about science and technology.
In this tube here, we have about 1 billion yeast cells, each one individually testing a drug for activity.
Those cells generated at his biotech lab, Abalone Bio in Emeryville, working out of a former Pixar sound studio to find the next effective weight loss drug.
Give you the beneficial effects without some of the side effects.
As weight loss medication like Ozempic and Wegovy are becoming more popular, Richard and his team are working to discover a new drug without the common side effects. A drug that can only bind and activate in certain parts of the body without producing unwanted symptoms. To hone in on specific antibodies, Richard and his team are turning to AI to help streamline the process.
In our case, we're going to do that much more specifically, so we're not activating the neurons that also give you diarrhea or nausea.
While the use of AI in medicine is not uncommon now, Richard says through this tool, he uses a more refined set of data that then generates the rare molecules needed for the drug to be effective.
Learns the often very non-intuitive combinations of those different sequences and how to combine them.
Medical experts like Dr. Dan Azaguri of the Stanford Lifestyle and Weight Management Center says, in a time where companies are developing new weight loss drugs, people should speak with their healthcare providers before starting any new treatment.
Find a reputable provider that can explain all the options and that can manage the treatment in a way that is tailored to you.
He adds that while surgery remains the most effective therapy for weight loss, drugs can help, but there is no quick fix.
Yes, there are some things that can be done faster these days, but ultimately, every single drug will have a side effect, and it's a matter of which one has the best safety profile, which one has the best efficacy profile.
Richard says his effort to create an ideal weight loss drug could take more than a decade to develop.
What we want to do is make sure we can make drugs that can access that other population that can't take those other drugs so that they can also benefit from these.
But he says in an evolving world of artificial intelligence and medicine, he is hoping to help pave the way.
Researchers at the Abalone Bio Lab are also working to create antibodies that take on challenging disease targets. Still ahead, bringing fun back into the fields.
I'm Elizabeth Cook. We'll introduce you to a former big leaguer turning young athletes into winners by removing toxicity from youth sports.
some light showers sweeping throughout the bay. Just around 11 o'clock, we're actually just seeing mostly cloudy skies until 2. We could see some more light showers sweep in from offshore close to that coastline throughout the evening hours tonight, but it looks like we are starting to dry up as we head into our Saturday forecast, at least. So in total today, we can see close to around 1/100 of an inch of rain all the way up near Santa Rosa, San Francisco. Nothing too impressive by any means. Now, as we take a look at the next 7 days, by Sunday into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we're gearing up for a longer stretch of time where we will see rain in the forecast. That's going to be a lot more impressive when it comes to the rainfall totals. 60s today, tomorrow, lasting into this weekend. By next week, we have 50s right around the corner, not only for our inland spots, but for our friends along the bay, too. So if you live in San Francisco or Oakland, we're going to cool down altogether as we head into next week.
The Giants take on the Cincinnati Reds for Game 2 in the series tomorrow. After their big come-from-behind win to open their season, the Giants scoring 4 runs in the 9th inning, including a 3-run homer by Wilmer Flores to beat the Reds 6-4 on the road. Right-hander Justin Verlander is going to make his debut for the Giants tomorrow. The Giants' home opener is coming up a week from today. And in other baseball news, despite the A's leaving town, the Battle of the Bay is back. Next week, we are excited to bring you the Oakland Ballers versus the San Jose Giants. That game is going to be live on Pix Plus, first pitch at 6 p.m. Following opening day of the baseball season, we wanted to take a look at youth sports and the growing pressure that is being put on young athletes. Our Elizabeth Cook sat down with a former big leaguer who is trying to put the fun back into youth sports.
When Paul Dynas and his son Tanner head to the Diamond, they're no longer playing just to win. They're focused on something more important.
Told you.
Paul Dynas was, for a time, coaching Tanner's team, but now his coaching days are over.
I was a horrible parent for many years. I would follow him around the field.
And they're just like being super hard on me. And I made one error, and I got a big talking to about it.
Anna Dynas is Tanner's mom.
Every time Tanner struck out, he'd look at him, no matter what. And I'm like, he needs to stop because he's already in his head. And so now he struck out, and now he's worried about that, and he's worried about what he's thinking of him.
So you benched him?
Yeah.
The Dynas family had a problem and sought help from a real pro.
Who in here wants to play professional baseball?
Professional ball player Travis Snyder counsels parents to get off their kids' backs.
Snyder hammers one to center field.
After a 16-year playing career, Blue Jays, Pirates, Orioles. Now he's trying to change the culture of youth sports through his Seattle-based company, 3A Athletics.
What do you want parents, coaches, and players to know?
We want them to have a community of resources and feel like they're not alone, because being a parent is incredibly difficult, and then you throw the pressure of sports, the time, the money, the energy. It just intensifies that emotional attachment that we have to our kids, who are the things we love the most.
And here's the reality. According to the NCAA, less than 7% of high school athletes play in college, and only 2% of them make it to the pros. Snyder, now a father of 3, brings a unique perspective to coaching kids and parents. As a boy, he was the best youth player in Washington State, but as an adult, he was diagnosed with complex PTSD after a lifetime of challenging moments.
You've been very open about this moment when you're 11 years old, you're standing there at the pitching mound, you're having a great game, but all of a sudden you have a meltdown. What happened?
At the time, I was the best player on the team, so that's a lot of pressure. And then when things don't go to plan, it was just too much for my emotional regulation to be able to process that while there's 6,000 people in the stands watching me fail.
The Dynas family says they benefited directly from the lessons Travis Snyder learned. Tanner is all in on his strategy to make youth sports a learning experience, not an end game.
So, Paul, how important is winning now?
I don't care. I just want to see Tanner be happy. Winning does not matter to me. If he's happy, I'm happy, she's happy, and we go home.
Which, as a parent, may make him an even bigger winner.
Coming up in the next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, we are getting close to Election Day in Oakland. One of the front runners just got the backing of another Bay Area mayor.
The division, if anything, is between status quo and an establishment that has become complacent.
Why he says one candidate is being shunned because of city politics. Plus, NASA testing aiming at new tech, keeping air support active during firefights when human pilots can't see. We're getting an up-close look at how it is done.
This project is super personal to me. I grew up in Southern California. I've been evacuated.
I'm Ann Makovic, and this is the minute. At least 150 people are dead after a 7.7 earthquake rocked Myanmar and Thailand. A 6.4 aftershock followed. At least 90 people are missing after a building collapsed in Bangkok. The number of people killed expected to rise as rescuers sort through the rubble. BTA bus service has resumed this morning. For the first time in nearly 3 weeks, drivers who went on strike are back on the job after a judge ordered them to return. Light rail service is expected to resume following rail inspections. And a grand opening this morning for a new Korean food marketplace in Daly City. Jagalchi at Siramonte Mall includes a seafood market and high-end restaurant, as well as a prepared food section, bakery, and deli. It spans 75,000 square feet. I'm Ann Makovic with the minutes.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, it's a cool and cloudy day for us today with some light showers sweeping in from offshore. Now, just within the past 24 hours, we've gotten close to an inch of rain in areas like Kentfield, Santa Rosa topping off closer to around 1/4 of an inch, and we'll continue to add to that as we head into this weekend's forecast. The good news is we're staying dry for Saturday's forecast, but we do have more rain as early as Sunday. But before I get too ahead of myself, we still need to talk about today, because this morning alone, we've been seeing some light showers in the forecast for us. That'll be the trend as we head into this afternoon, mostly sweeping off into the east, catching a little bit of a break with cloudy skies throughout most of the day today, but those light showers could still hold on tight to our coastline. So gear up and get ready for that. In total, we'll see probably around 1/4 of an inch all the way over to areas like Livermore. Less impressive numbers along that coastline. Now let's head over to the next 7 days. Like I mentioned, Saturday is going to be a nice dry day for us. Still cloudy though and cool as well, but once we head into Sunday, those showers return, and that's the case as we head into all next week with rain in the forecast each day from Monday into Tuesday, all the way into our Thursday forecast. The next 7 days are looking pretty gloomy and pretty cloudy and very wet too. So hold on tight to that umbrella, or at least go buy a new one if you need one as we head into Saturday. Saturday is a great day to do any yard work, get some fresh air, do some outdoor activities, because I have a feeling as we head into next week, just getting busy with our work schedules, our school schedules, and all the rain that we're expecting too, you're probably going to be inside a lot and wishing that you would have taken advantage of the forecast on Saturday with mid-60s in the forecast and just partly cloudy skies. I'll keep you updated on those rainfall totals here in the Weather Center. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Thanks, Jess. We are less than 3 weeks away from Election Day in Oakland. Voters are going to have the chance to choose their new mayor to replace Sheng Tao, who was, of course, recalled in November. Right now, there are two frontrunners, longtime Oakland Congresswoman Barbara Lee and former Oakland Council member Lauren Taylor, who finished a close second during the last mayoral election. And now, the mayor of the Bay Area's most populous city has officially endorsed Taylor. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, a Democrat, says that his party needs a shakeup and says Taylor is the only candidate who can do it. Kevin Coe joined the two yesterday as they made the rounds in the town.
Step by step, business to business, mayoral candidate Lauren Taylor spent Thursday in Oakland's Laurel District with a simple message to voters. He's just like them.
That's what it's going to take in the mayor's office. Someone who understands our city intimately and is unbeholden to the establishment that it restrains us and has unfortunately gotten us to where we are.
Taylor is running against former Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who has the upper hand in experience, fundraising, and endorsements. Taylor argues that all works to his advantage.
When Congresswoman Lee jumped in the race, they all came and said, you should stand down. You should not run. Allow her to move forward. The odds are not in your favor. It's time for Oakland to deliver for Oaklanders, not the political insiders and pundits.
Taylor received one of his biggest endorsements Thursday from the mayor of a major Bay Area city. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan says he supports Taylor as the pair have had a similar political path. Both were outsiders who won city council seats before both eventually decided to run for mayor of their cities.
Lauren Taylor is facing the same battle I did. The money and the insiders are not with him, but he is not alone. We need to reinvent government, and reinventing government's not going to be done by folks, no matter how much we respect them, no matter how much we honor and admire them, folks who have been steeped in it or part of the establishment have been doing it for 30, 40 years.
In response to Mahan's endorsement, Barbara Lee's campaign tells CBS News Bay Area that she's the only candidate who can make an impact on day one. Lee's campaign also stating, quote, she is a tested and proven leader who is singularly focused on keeping Oakland safe, tackling our housing crisis, and making city government work for its people. Those same promises are being made by Taylor, who, with Mahan, says Lee is part of the establishment, holding Oakland back.
Doing the same thing time and time again and expecting different results, we know the definition of insanity. We've got to do something different.
The division, if anything, is between status quo and an establishment that has become complacent, that has frankly become a club of insiders who look out for one another and have each other's back, to protect their power, their privilege, their position, and have stopped really focusing on what we're here to do, which is to change outcomes for our community.
Oakland's special election will be held on April 15th.
Well, besides Mahan, only a handful of Democrats have endorsed Taylor over Lee, but Lauren Taylor does have the support of the group that led the recall effort against former Mayor Sheng Tao. Barbara Lee's endorsements include former Governor and Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown and Lee's replacement in Congress, Latifah Simon. She also has the backing of several major labor unions, including the Oakland firefighters. And it's not just the mayor's office up for grabs next month. Voters are also going to choose a new city council member for District 2, which includes neighborhoods like Chinatown, East Lake, and San Antonio. There's also a measure to raise the city's sales tax by 0.5 cent, so a lot on the line. In the wake of those devastating wildfires in Southern California, Governor Newsom has signed an executive order to speed up the process of burying power lines underground. The governor's office says the move is meant to remove red tape that would normally hinder utility companies from putting their equipment underground. CAL FIRE says power lines have sparked several wildfires in recent years, including the Big Dixie Fire in 2021 here in Northern California. As of November, PG&E says it has buried more than 800 miles of lines in areas at high risk of wildfires. Fire crews here in California are trained, of course, to handle some of the most intense circumstances possible. But at times, low visibility or dangerous conditions can ground an air assault, which is the most effective tool at fighting wildfires. Well, now NASA is helping expand the window of time that crews have to respond to a major incident. You can see this video where researchers performed their first wildfire test flight missions using some new aerospace management technology. It is potentially life-saving tech that is years in the making. I brought our Mary Lee along for the ride.
You can fine adjust more if you want.
Here in the beautiful Salinas foothills, NASA researchers have turned this private land into their very own live experiment. Their mission, helping crews fight fires from the air both day and night, sending all types of aircraft in the sky 24/7. Because right now, pilots can't fly at night or in heavy smoke.
It's something that I've spent years talking to firefighters from different agencies about, and it's just really exciting to actually, see the drones take off and then see the real live display, not simulated data, but like the actual live location of all those pieces being tracked in our system.
Taking me along for the ride, we drove up rugged terrain to get to the launch site. This is where we found more NASA researchers here in this remote area. They purposely picked this spot because of the hills, vegetation, and weak cell service.
I'll just put the batteries on, and then I'll come back for the RC.
This is where we met Jonas Jansson. He's the mission manager for NASA's test mission here.
We have ground station operator here, so it's going to then take over the control of the aircraft and fly the flight plan, which we have scouted out there. So it's a lawnmower pattern and going back and forth across the hillside. And the purpose is to simulate a prescribed burn.
NASA is testing its Portable Aircraft Management System, or PAMS, to make sure drones and remotely piloted aircraft stay inside their approved flight paths, wildfire operation zones, and of course, avoid any collisions in the air. By first making sure their aircraft communication runs smoothly, they can then safely deploy all aircraft at night or in heavy smoke, something they could never do before. Extending the time crews can fight fires is crucial and can make all the difference in stopping a wildfire from getting out of control.
This project is super personal to me. I grew up in Southern California. I've been evacuated. I lived in a canyon that every year you'd get fires. And so being able to help with this project and help our end users is really kind of just a dream come true.
It's a real good motivation for in the morning when you get up at 5 a.m. or something to head out and do the flight test. You know that you're doing it for a good cause.
For NASA researchers, they say this mission is not just rewarding, but brings them one step closer to reality. They hope fire crews can start using their new technology out in the field soon.
Researchers will use data from the flight test to refine the airspace management system. The project is managed at NASA's Ames Research Center, which is at Moffett Field. Coming up next, it is going to be Florida against Texas Tech. Coming up tomorrow at Chase Center, how March Madness here in the Bay Area is hitting home for one head coach, battling for a spot in the Final Four.
cool and cloudy day with daytime highs topping off in the low 60s as we head into this afternoon with some light showers in the forecast too. Now we head into our Saturday and Sunday forecast. We'll catch a little bit of a break from the rain by tomorrow, gearing up for more as we head into Sunday. That's just along the bay. We're also going to notice that in our inland areas as well. We're also cooling down more as we head into next week with upper 50s in the forecast right around the corner, not only for our friends in San Francisco, but this will include the East Bay as early as Monday and Tuesday with cloudy skies and wet conditions into next week.
All right, to March Madness now. Tomorrow, Chase Center hosting an Elite 8 matchup between top seed Florida and 3 seed Texas Tech. That is in the West Region Final with the spot in the Final Four on the line. The Bay Area got a taste of the Sweet 16 at Chase Center last night. Florida defeating the Maryland Terrapins with the final score 87-71. The victory hit home for Gators head coach Todd Golden, who played at St. Mary's and then coached at USF.
How excited do you think Todd is just getting to be in San Francisco for another day?
Super excited. Man, this is neck of the woods, man.
You know, it's hometown, man. He definitely is. Hopefully we go to another good dinner spot like we did other day whenever we got here.
In the other Sweet 16 game at Chase Center, Texas Tech beat Arkansas in overtime 85-83. Lots of fans at Chase Center for the Sweet 16 tournament, and we caught up with diehard Razorbacks fan Mike Moore. They call him Arkansas Mike at his office, and he's been following the Razorbacks across the country all tournament long.
When I get in the arena, it's like I'm 18 again. We don't have pro teams to cheer for, and so the Razorbacks are our team, and we love seeing them be successful. It says a lot for our state.
Fans here for the tournament are getting a thrill even before they reach the stadium, with some fans taking Waymos to the game. This is a very novel concept for a lot of people across the country. Cade Caton hopped into a robo-taxi to Chase Center to cheer on his team, and he told us he could see these driverless cars on the streets in his home state.
If we grew like we're supposed to, I think we could, Northwest Arkansas. So, yeah, we got Walmart and JB Hunt. I could see it really happening.
Waymo has more than 300 cars on San Francisco city streets. For more information on the NCAA tournament and tomorrow's game at Chase Center, you can head to our website, kpix.com. Well, March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month, and customers are flocking to a bakery in Palo Alto, not just for the treats, but for the employees they see behind the counter. Ada's Cafe is truly a sweet spot. It's a nonprofit that started as a small initiative, and it's become a treasured local spot, employing people with intellectual, physical, or neurodiverse conditions, offering them a supportive environment to work and interact with others.
I do everything here. I do drinks, I do sandwiches, I do dishes. That's what I do.
It's all about the patience and the kindness and the support.
Catch Len Ramirez's story of the remarkable bakery that is making a big difference tonight at 5, right here on NBC News Bay Area. Coming up, how a group of tech entrepreneurs are trying to change the image of San Francisco's nightlife with an app and plenty of parties.
showers sweeping throughout the bay. Just around 11 o'clock, we're actually just seeing mostly cloudy skies until 2. We could see some more light showers sweep in from offshore close to that coastline throughout the evening hours tonight, but it looks like we are starting to dry up as we head into our Saturday forecast, at least. So in total today, we can see close to around 1/100 of an inch of rain all the way up near Santa Rosa, San Francisco. Nothing too impressive by any means. Now, as we take a look at the next 7 days, by Sunday into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we're gearing up for a longer stretch of time where we will see rain in the forecast. That's going to be a lot more impressive when it comes to the rainfall totals. 60s today, tomorrow, lasting into this weekend. By next week, we have 50s right around the corner, not only for our inland spots, but for our friends along the bay, too. So if you live in San Francisco or Oakland, we're going to cool down altogether as we head into next week.
For people who are new to San Francisco, it could be difficult to find all the fun things going on around the city. But sure enough, there is a team of 20-somethings who are building an app to try to solve that very problem. And they're doing it in the most Gen Z way ever. Sarah Donchi went to the place where it all began.
Are you kidding me? The amount of, I think having a big place allowed us to host a lot of events, bring a lot of communities together. Like we did a dinner with strangers was our most famous one, where we invited 12 strangers over for dinner that didn't know who each other were.
If you want to build an app to help people party in San Francisco, your best bet is to live in a party house. That's what this group is doing, and the evidence of said parties was not well hidden.
Wow. Like tequila much? I don't know. That's barely anything.
Relics of the past?
Yeah, it's a lot of tequila.
This group of Gen Z tech entrepreneurs is taking it upon themselves to unravel the doom loop.
I think the majority of people that say San Francisco is boring are not in San Francisco.
We've definitely played a big part in pushing the narrative that SF is not this dead, empty place anymore, and that there's new types of fun, there's new types of entertainment.
They are working on Vently, a platform aimed at helping people find fun in San Francisco, and they've hosted a lot of events, raves, block parties, fitness events.
I'm a firm believer that if you want to build something for communities, especially in a place like San Francisco, you have to immerse yourself in it.
We had over 250 people crammed up here. We had all of the wine selection here. We had people pouring drinks.
And if this sounds like a dream job to live in a house with a bunch of friends, finding and hosting parties, they say it pretty much is.
Oh, like a day in the life was literally me waking up, Nick there with the coffee ready, everyone going into the meeting room for a morning sync, and just working and creating some cool things together.
So when Vently initially launched, they say that they had 10,000 daily active users in San Francisco. They are working on a new app now, which should be up and running in the next couple of months. Party on. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your First Alert forecast and another look at your top stories.